Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. In today's episode we'll make Pane Di Pasqua. It is an Italian Easter bread. It is a sweet dough baked with an egg in the middle. It's got such a nice soft texture and it looks just fantastic. I mean, this is like one of the prettiest Easter breads I've ever seen. And even better still, you can crack the egg and eat it. You should definitely consider this for your Easter baking list. But if you're not into this, that's fine. Check out my other Easter bread recipes. But let's get on with this. And as always, you'll find full detailed written recipe down in the description box with metric and imperial units. This is so easy to make, you can't pass it on. Let's see what equipment we need. We'll need a tray with some non-stick paper, a bowl, scales, dough scraper, a temperature probe, and a brush. That's it. For the ingredients, you'll need some strong white bread flour, milk, a whole egg, yeast, salt, sugar, some soft butter, orange zest, ground star anise, an egg for brushing, some colourful hundreds and thousands for decoration, and we'll need 4 whole eggs in the shell to go in the buns. Now let's start making the dough. Get your bowl, add your egg, give it a quick whisk, and then follow that with the milk, yeast, salt, sugar, the soft butter, the ground star anise, and the orange zest. Once you got your ingredients all in the bowl, give them a quick mix. Disperse them evenly throughout the liquid. Hydrate the yeast, dissolve the salt and sugar crystals before adding the flour. Now once you mix it well, add the flour, grab your dough scraper and mix it to a dough. And if the scraper is not doing the job, continue on by hand. You want to mix this dough in the bowl until it's one cohesive piece, to avoid making a mess on your table. Now let's start kneading. This is not a very sticky dough, so I'm using my regular kneading method. What I like to do is press down and forwards with the heel of my right hand, then using the fingers of my left hand I fold the piece of dough under the heel of my right hand, then turn it and repeat. Once you've done this a few times, the motion will become fluent. It will be like second nature. If the dough is sticking to the table a little bit, just scrape it up using your scraper. Then just continue kneading. All in all, this should not take more than 5 minutes. And once the dough is nice and smooth and not too sticky anymore, we can pop it in a bowl and start fermenting. But don't forget to take the temperature. We want this to be around 25 to 26 degrees Celsius. Now cover it up and let it ferment for 45 minutes. If your dough is warmer, it will ferment more rapidly. If it's cooler, it will take longer. Adjust the proofing times accordingly. But regardless, after the first proof, we need to give it a fold. Release the dough from the bowl using your scraper, pop it out on the table, smooth side down, then flatten it out, fold the edge over the middle, going around in a circle until it reaches the point where you started. Then you can flip it smooth side up again, tighten it against the table, pinch the seam together at the bottom, and that's your fold done. This step is beneficial to the dough. We are degassing it, we are creating extra layers in gluten structure, and we are equalizing the temperature in the dough. So if it was still warm on the inside but cooled down on the outside, we distribute that temperature evenly throughout it, thus giving us an even fermentation. So after the fold, cover your dough up and leave it to ferment for 45 more minutes. After the second proof, we can divide it. Each bun is made up of 2 pieces. We're making 4 buns, so you want to divide this dough into 8 equal parts. So you should definitely use your scales for this. So weigh your dough ball and cut it down to size. After dividing, we need to pre-shape the dough. Now this is what you want to do. Take a piece of dough, flatten it out, and fold the sides across each other in the middle. Then starting from the top, roll it up. It's as if you're making a miniature loaf of bread. You basically want them to be this blunt cylinder shape. So watch my hands and follow. Cross the sides over and roll it up. Simple as that. The pre-shaping step is there because we divide the dough and each of the dough balls is made up of little pieces. We want to hide those pieces, make everything nice and uniform. Now cover them and let them rest for 15 minutes. During this time the gluten will relax and make it a lot easier for us to do the final shaping. Now use your flour sparingly, you really don't want too much here. Fine dusting will do. Because we need to roll the dough out, if you were to use too much flour, the dough would just slide around on the table and you get nowhere. Using both hands, apply equal pressure and roll them. If you feel that there's an air bubble inside, slap it out. You know, there's no rush, just do it gradually. And use your whole palm and all of your fingers to roll it, that'll make it more even. You want them to be around 30 centimeters long, which is about a foot. Do 2 at a time, Just make sure they're both the same length. Now watch carefully. I'm connecting the two ends at one side, then grabbing one end on the other side and swinging the loose end around it. And once it's back on the table, give it a quick twist again. And then just connect the ends together. This is very similar to a Turkish bagel actually. If you messed this one up, you got 3 more to practice on, no worries. I think the most important part is the swinging part. So I'm going to show it to you a few more times. I mean, by the time you've done the last one, you'll be a master. It's really not that difficult. This is probably the second time I've ever made these. So finish up your last bun, clean down your table, get your tray with some non-stick paper and arrange them on it. We are ready for the final fermentation. When you put them on a tray, stretch them a little bit. You want the egg to sit right in the middle, not on top of the dough. And if you don't want to use the egg, you can just leave them as they are. Right, so at this point you want to start preheating your oven, 160 degrees Celsius with a fan on. Because these things will not take too long to ferment. Around 45 minutes should do the job. And if your kitchen is cold and they are taking longer, just leave them for longer. Bake the bread when the bread is ready, not when you're ready. You can't always follow the times that someone gives you. Same goes the other way around. If they are fermenting rapidly and puffing up, react and bake them earlier. Now brush them with the egg all over. Just be gentle, you don't want to deflate them. And after the egg, decorate them with the hundreds and thousands. I'm not sure if they are called hundreds and thousands all over the world, but regardless of what they're called, they look quite nice. And last but not least, pop your eggs in the center of each bun. Make sure you put them in a way that the stamp is facing down, because you don't want to see that. Now pop them in the oven for 25 minutes. The dough and the eggs will be perfectly cooked by that time. Look at those beauties rise. I mean, this is one of the prettiest Easter breads ever. One last thing we can do when they come out of the oven, just to make them nice and shiny, grab a little bit of oil and brush it all over. Also brush the eggs. This is just to make them look extra fancy. But anyway, that's how we make Pane Di Pasqua. Quite cool, right? And as always, if you have any questions or suggestions, drop them down in comments. And subscribe if you haven't already. My channel is full of awesome recipes, and not only that, I teach bread baking principles, which are far more important than recipes. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.